Hello, Chipsters. It's me, Gav. Yeah, I forget a lot of things. Now I almost forgot my name then. It's me, Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we are looking at Trumpeter's 1 in 700 scale USS Lexington CV2. I think how she looked on her last voyage. Now, there's not a lot done. I'm using the Edward photo etch upgrade set. If you want the frets anyway. I tried to put some nuts in, like I've seen, like the Japanese modelers do, because I follow a lot of Japanese guys. Obviously, do the 1 in 700 scale waterline ships, especially a lot of the Tamiya ones. You know, the old ones, and it's weird. You know, the Tamiya ones are, let's face it, pretty ancient. You know, 1971, 2, 3, 4. But if you get an upgrade set for them, yes, it costs money. But if you get an upgrade set for them, it really does revolutionise what the ship. It doesn't matter that the ship was, you know, not the ship, but the actual model was made in, tooled, or whatever you want to call it, in, you know, the early 70s. You get, if you've got the stamina and wearing, which I haven't got them at the moment. Yes, we can. And we put the old magnifiers on. You can really make, you know, even a tiny 1 in 700 scale destroyer look really good. Unless you Gav, of course, and then it just looks like a pile of super glue and bits of plastic and bits of photo etch. But you know, we've got to keep trying. And one day, I keep promising myself that it doesn't matter what model I do, but like in this case, the 1 in 700 ships, there's going to be a complete jump forward in how I do stuff. This build so far is running true to course. I'm doing my best. Obviously, with photo, you know, I've got head problems, and I've explained to all you guys before. I find it really hard processing the instructions, no matter how well written they are. Well, you add that into the mix. That I've used Edward before, and I don't know if this is an older. I mean, it's definitely just black and white, you know, photocopy type thing. But some of the things they've put on don't correspond to the Trumpeter mouldings. You know, they're like upside down and things like that, and that's thrown me. And it's taken a while to obviously, right, this has got to take the photo etch bit off there, and oh, hang on a minute, that boat deck is upside down. What, that shouldn't be. And again, when you got busted and you're trying to process it, and it just takes a while, and even then you don't always get it right. But that's another story. But yeah, it's I've only got I've put the degaussing wire around the one side of the hull. I'd hoped to do it last night, but things came up and I didn't get a chance to really. I only had about an hour to play with, and it took me about 3 hours to get this one piece of degaussing. Right, 3 hours is pushing it, maybe 2.5, to get this one strip. And even then I came to it the next day and realised that it was slightly out at the back, and I had to get the debonder and gently tease it away and then redo it again. So yeah, I'm waffling a lot. Let's go down and take a look. But I think I was starting to say, before I went off tangent again, the Japanese modelers, they put nuts in them. And my old Mara Jeff over at Jeff Donahue Scale Modelling channel, I think that's it. But just go see Jeff Donahue. He's a really nice guy, and he tends to put comments down a lot on my stuff. So just check him out. You'll see his thing down below. Probably that's being a bit presumptuous. Yeah, you know, you put you super glue a nut in, and then you stick, whether it's old sprue, or in my case I had some old bits of styrene sheet that as I say, I save every little clip in a styrene sheet because it's blooming expensive, and it all comes in handy. Even if it's, you know, you've saved a 10mm square, you know, it's it all adds up to being using something else. I drilled some oversized holes. The only nuts that I had were, look at the camera, Gav, and not keep down at the ship. The only nuts that I had were Nylox And nylocks to you too, Gav. How are you saying? Yes, I know. We've had to watch another one of your giant videos. I'm not a lot. You see what I did there? A bit of a joke. Yeah. I don't know if they're called nylocks in other countries. So they're nuts with the plastic round, which helps retain them, stops them obviously shaking loose and things like that. And you know when you know. Is that right? But you know when you know that what you're doing is more or less going to cause you problems down the line, and you still do it. Well, I've had bits of machinery and bits of that, you know, obviously in my old job I used to work for myself, well I still work for myself, but you know, doing other stuff. So I've always had bits of tools and bits of stuff lying around. Do you think I could find any normal nuts that would fit? You know, I've got jars of old nuts, because again, just like them, I used to keep everything in case it comes in handy. Not a chance. Not at this scale anyway. So what I did have was some brand new with these nylocks, and I'm thinking, yeah, but it's going to be tough putting them, because all I've got the bolts, I've got those with the slotted heads rather than the hex heads. You know, put a screwdriver down and that, and I think, no, it'll be all right. It wasn't all right. So anyway, let's go down to the bench and take a look why it wasn't all right. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. Oh, as usual, I have nothing to point with. Not that we really need anything, but let's use this one. Right, Hull, as you can see. Yes, Gav has been to Holland back. Oh, come on. Oh, you don't get entertainment like this on the BBC. Anyway, right, I digress. Now, as you can see, giant hole, lots of plastic card put around. We have our surviving nylock there. Let's see if we can get in closer. That you really want to. There we go, we're here. Zoom speed. Yeah, it did what I thought it would do. These didn't hold, and it pushed the nylock straight out. I don't think I'll be using, I'll probably just keep that one in. That one in there. Come on, Gav. In fact, let's go back now. The guys have seen what they need to see. Right. Note to self: I've got a giant block of wood. I thought you need something stable to. Let me see if I can reach over and get it. You need something stable to build your ship on. Well, you don't get nothing more stable than this giant block of wood. And that's what's going on. I thought, well, ain't going to move on that, is it? It wasn't going to. That's not the original. Obviously, this is going in a water base. This isn't the display. It wasn't the display piece of wood. But yeah, wasn't going anywhere on that one. My neighbour's lean-to probably will do, because it was. I did cut this off the base of it. No, I didn't. I didn't really. He doesn't even have a lean-to. I'm just jesting with you. But yeah, a fair old block of wood. Shame really, never mind. I'll use it, it's all pre-drilled. I've got another 1 in 700 kit that I've had bought for Christmas, which I'm told I'm not allowed to have. We'll talk about that in a minute. Right, so that was the idea. In case you don't know, so me bolts would have gone up through the base of the, I'd even countersunk it as well, I don't believe it. Go through the bottom, obviously go through the top here, and it just secures your ship nice and tidy. You don't have to worry about anything, and you can hold it, turn it over, all that stuff. Oh well. I'd say lesson learned, but I never do I? So let's forget about that now. It's gone. Doing that, it also helped to push out some of the base that hadn't been securely glued, or the glue just wasn't strong enough, and I had to re-glue sections of that as well. Luckily though, no damage was done, but damage was done to these boat decks, which are also now, in some parts they were removed, some of the boats were removed, and ship's boats that is, and they put gun emplacements, barbettes is it? I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, platforms could be a better word. And by the way, usually on a warship, you see the ship's boats. They're not lifeboats. They are the ship's boats. They're working boats. They take the crew on liberty, shore leave in the UK, things like that. Yes, and they can save if they've not been destroyed in an action. If your ship's sinking, they might not even be, they might just be bits of driftwood by then. But they're not like on an ocean liner. You know, we all know Titanic didn't have enough of them. Well, warships definitely don't have enough of them. They rely more on in the UK, we call them Carly floats, back in those days anyway. But you know, life rafts and things like that. So they're working boats rather than lifeboats. I just thought I'd throw that out there, I think. So, as you can see here, or can you? Probably picked the wrong background here. Right, there we go. She's slightly wavy. That's because Gavin is trying to... because I couldn't get the damn one. Nylock was really doing its place on this one, and I couldn't get it off. And I successfully managed to break that side and that side, because they're very thin and they're quite long, and they were already bent out of shape anyway. And they just pinged, you know, they just cut even, break. That was the word I was after. Now, I know guys... the decent modelers out there will jump around a model and not follow the instructions. I've always said to you, the problem for me doing that is obviously I have so many head problems. Not following the instructions just leads to disaster. But I thought in this case, although it wasn't... let's get up there, Gav. In this case, they didn't ask you to do any of this yet, but I thought if I broke these two, I'm going to end up snapping these off completely, and then I'm going to try and manufacture them in styrene sheet, and it might work, it might not, but and obviously it still doesn't look brilliant there, but I'm going to do these as well. So there's 3 on this side. There ain't no other ones apart from the one that broke on that side. So I thought, well, if I stick those on now, it'll at least keep these sealed up, and it'll stop these other 3 from going. That was the idea anyway. So this will have a ship's boat in it, and I'd take it these are the like little davit things that'll lift her out and up. Other ones, these ones here, I haven't got them out now, which is a bit silly really, but there's some little platforms. I might shut the video off in a minute and just dig them out my box, but I've made some platforms for these. There will be the occasional one will have ship's boats. That one's got a ship's boat in it, still got the davits on. I made up the PE walkways. They were fairly easy to do. There are ladders going to go off these. Now, what is it with photo etch that when you get to the last one, you put your whatever cutting device you're going to use, and it just goes ping and ends up on the neighbour's roof? I have no idea where that's gone. I've got laminate floors, and I know it only landed on the desk. Problem is my desk, or my cutting mat, as I've said to you before, because I'm a figure painter by profession, and obviously do a lot for a hobby as well as my scale modelling. My painting mat is full of glue, and it's just like the relief map of Europe. And paint spottles everywhere, and trying to find a piece of photo etch, and believe me, I've gone over with my magnifying glasses and I can't find it anywhere. Now, I'm lucky that I'd seen a cheap photo etch fret of it just said World War II, ship's railings, probably not even American, but the ladders looked exactly the same as this little fella in here, which I've done. Can you? There we go. There's a little PE ladder. Now the things you've got to be careful of, this on the boats for the where are you there? Boat deck, that's not a problem, because the boats can have a couple of little, I can't remember what they call them, but where they sit the cradle like that they sit the boat on. But these are going to have the gun platforms that the plastic fits into the back and sticks out obviously, and you put a photo etch if you want to. You remove the plastic, which I've done, untidily put a piece of photo etch around, which we'll see in a minute. So I've left the ladders off this. As I say, I have got a spare ladder, some small spare, about 6. So providing I don't lose more than 6, I'm okay. I decided I wasn't sure whether to prime them in situ on the fret or not, and because this has got some lovely grating. That's not just one piece. That's like you fold it over, and there's grating which you'll never see, but I know it's there. That fits on top of that plastic bar. Some of them there's not even a plastic bar. It's just you just literally have to glue it where you where you think. This one, the bar is that low, so I would have thought they'd have gone straight over, but it seems to go down. I've got the one book, as you guys know, but it's not like one of them anatomy of the ship type books or one of the 3D books, and it's just got some wartime photographs in and pre-war photographs, and you can guarantee it's never got what you want. Let's go to the degaussing cable. Now this is to stop your magnetic mines. Did degaussing cable also stop magnetic the magnetic detonators on the torpedoes as well? I don't know that one. If anybody does, if you don't mind telling me. But I know it's obviously there to stop magnetic mines. And this one's quite a nice one. Gav got his hands on it. It is supposed to go, that's the exact shape that it, well, come on focus, that's the exact shape that I was given. It comes in about 5 pieces, I believe. It gets thinner in the main part of the hole there. Now, what I should have done, and I didn't think about it at the time, I knew I needed to work from the bow, because obviously that was where your main dip goes down, and that's where it was showing it on the real ship as well. So I thought I'll do that one first, so I can work off. Now what I should have done then was put a line in to the stern, and I didn't. I just eyed it, which was rather foolish. Also, I haven't got any slow acting or slightly slower acting super glue or CA. I tried using this thinner stuff, a cheap brand that I bought from one of these. We call it the range over here, like it's a general type store, and I bought a couple of cheap bottles, and it was like a medium viscosity. Don't ask me to spell that word. And it just wouldn't stick. It just kept peeling away. So I had to use my trusty Gorilla thick glue, gel glue, which I really like using. But on such thin degaussing cable like that, it splurges out. Now I have gone along with debonder last night, apart from at the rear here, because I had to reattach that one, so that's got to be re-cleaned off. But I've still got small little bits which I know are going to end up showing under the paint. I just know they will. So I'm going to have one more go. I've tried my scalpel as well, just trying to clean them back, but it wasn't massively successful. So that's that. I had to take this piece back, so it stops. You can't see with the glue. Stops there. That's your last piece. Obviously goes to just round the end of the bow there. No, that's not the bow. That's the stern. Round the end of the stern. And I had to end up peeling it back to about here, and then just lowering it very slightly because it was way out of sync to that. That's the best I can get it. I have to glue, as I say, that's all fresh glue, so I've got to clean back that with debonder again, and along here, and then again I'll go down that again and clean it again before I try tonight and do obviously the other side, which apart from boat gallery there, well in fact that probably might not be a boat gallery, it'll probably be a air defence platform. It fits in there, and then your ladder goes down there. Some of them have doorways shown and some of them don't. I don't really understand it. I think it's a bit vague really. Not on, that's on the Edward one, not on the trumpeter side of things. What I'll do though with things like that is if I don't see any doors, and I think there are doors there, I will, if I've got any spare doors, I'll stick them on before I start painting. But that's it really. As I say, I don't think I will get the platforms out. I don't really see the sense. You'll see them soon enough. They're just, as I say, flat piece of plastic with a moulded lip on the end to obviously show the raised section. That's protection, obviously, like the bulwark type of thing. But I cut it away. It's nice. The plastic's fairly soft to cut away with a fresh scalpel blade, and I attached the PE, which you'll see wasn't attached particularly greatly as usual, but it is what it is. There's a few gaps in that, and I put some filler in those gaps as well. But you'll see that soon enough, because I will have to decide. I believe these are 20mm on these ones here. There we go, Gav, show the people. 20mm with shields. Now, the PE frets, they don't look particularly, not the shields obviously, but the actual guns, obviously because they're flat, they don't look massively appealing. So I'm just wondering, that I didn't think the 20mm looked that bad as things go, and I might just stick the shields on those. We'll have a look at that. Before I do it, we'll have a look, and you know, if you want to have a look yourselves and you think what you put down what you think. Right, I think that's it then. Not a lot to show you, but I did want to show you some progress rather than none. Let's get back, Gav. So yeah, I'm not the world's best PE attacher. I'm not Jeff Donahue, but I don't have a massive experience with it, so it's just a case of, you know, cracking on until I get better with it. I would never not use PE because I really think this ship would be a reasonable facsimile of the Lexington CV2 if it had no PE on and you didn't carve in, you know, hull plating and things like that. But I don't think it's really doing justice to the ship or the crew, especially the guys that was lost. So I like to do my best. As I say, I have to work to a budget. I don't have any, you know, I don't have a lot of money, and that's not, I say, getting the little violin out. But what I'm saying is, there are some guys that are lucky enough they can literally throw all the bells and whistles at a kit, whatever that kit is. I can't do that. I have to pick and choose, you know, what I'm going to do. So the photo etch side kit for the 2 frets is enough for me to, you know, I can do a bit of carving on the whole plate. I know it's not brilliant. I know my photo etch ain't brilliant, but again, to me, it's a bit better than what was there. So I prefer photo etch. Yes, it's a pain in the buttocks, and you know, it's messy when you don't get it right, like I don't, but eventually I will, because I do have a thirst for always trying to want to get better, you know, at things. I'm not competitive. I'd never be like a you know, sticking things in a show or anything, but I'm not competitive, but I like to improve. You know, it's like my painting. I always say, you know, my painting's come on, say, probably in the last 5 or 6 years a lot more than it was before. So hopefully I keep grasping at straws and hoping my modelling does the same thing. So yeah, that's Lexington. My in-laws bought me another ship that, you know, the wife said, well, they gave me some money, and the wife said, you know what, instead of hoarding it, why don't you spend it? And I said, yeah, because I said they never see you with a present, and I went, yeah, fair enough. And I bought the Trumpeter Bismarck. Now, Bismarck is really trendy. Not trendy, that's the wrong word, isn't it? It's popular. Let's put it popular, along with Yamato. You know, people enjoy doing them, the Tirpitz, and I've got book. I haven't actually got a book. I've said to the wife, well, one of the other things, I'd like to get one of that anatomy of the ship for the Bismarck, because I haven't got it. I've got a general book on the Tirpitz, which I've had literally since the 1990s. And I think I might have mentioned it in another video. As I say, finances mean I tend not to. No, I wanted the Lexington, I must admit, Lexington or Saratoga or Yorktown, and in the early part of the war, and the Lexington came up at a good price. What I've been doing, I found it easier to go and look for super detail sets that aren't too expensive, and then get the model to match a model to it, because the models themselves, at 1 in 700 anyway, aren't the expensive bit as far as I'm concerned. This was about 20, I mean, it's about 26 quid now, maybe even a bit more, but I think I paid about 22, 23, can't remember, something around that for a while ago, only this year, but a few months back. So I put in, 1 in 700 scale ship detail sets, saw what was available for the price. I saw that the company called Hunter, that I believe do wooden decks for one of all the different scale ships. They also do occasionally like these full detail sets, and I managed to get a Hunter one for the Bismarck for about 25 quid, something like that, including the delivery. So then I went hunting around for a Bismarck model, and it had to be, I think it had to be trumpeter for that one. So I had the trumpeter one, and I got it for about £22 with a delivery. So it's cost about 50 quid, but there's going to be some months of enjoyment out of that. So yeah, for Christmas, when I'm allowed to have it, and the actual detail set gets here, because that is coming from China, I will be doing the Bismarck in 1 in 700 scale. As I say, I've got to get a book yet. Those Anatomy of the Ship books look good, and they're only, I saw a second-hand one for about £18, and some of the new ones are only like about £22, so I thought, looks like I can get one of them. But not yet, because Telford's up this weekend and I can't afford to spend my money. Oh, by the way, I followed Jeff Donahue. What is this, the Jeff Donahue fan club? I followed Jeff's advice, and I annealed it. I bought myself a couple of these zigzag lighters. They should be termed mini flamethrowers. Burnt myself several times on them so far, but I annealed all that degaussing cable, because I knew it'd have to go over and under things. Now on the real ship, by the way, I'm not sure, these strakes that go down the side here, I've put them over them. I'm not 100% sure on the real ship if it doesn't go under them. I'm not 100% sure, but I've gone over them. I thought I'm happy with that. But yeah, so I nailed all that as well. I just forgot to tell you. But yeah, so we've got the Bismarck coming. Who knows? You never know. I know what I'm like. I'll go off and get something else now. But that's how I've been doing it. Not not the ship. As I say, Bismarck, and this isn't knocking people that are doing obviously the Bismarck Tirpitz, Yamato, Musashi, the Hood. They're popular ships. A lot of the American ones, like New Jersey. Or do you remember the New Jersey firing her main armament against the terrorists in Lebanon back in the 80s? That was a sight to behold, that was, on the television. So yeah, I'm not that fussed what I actually build to a degree, as long as I can get a decent detailing up kit for it. I like this Hunter kit comes with the wooden deck, it comes with the brass barrels, and it comes with well, at least for the main armament, and I believe the secondary armament, the anti-aircraft armament you don't get, but and then obviously some photo etch sheets. So providing it gets here, that's the type of thing I like to look at. So as I say, it's not a particular ship. I've always said I'm a big fan of the Warspite and the Malaya, particularly sister ship. I've been since a kid. They're two of my favourites. But I also like. I would like to do a Prince of Wales, one of the KG5 class, King George V class, because of obviously we lost her off Malaya during World War II, and she obviously had her fight with the Bismarck as well. So I would like to do Prince of Wales at some stage, and fly up do a nice Prince of Wales, but I'd like to get a detailing up kit, and sometimes it's cheaper just to get the Flyhawk and sometimes do a deluxe set. I also like the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau as well. I've just so there's a possibility of doing those. I'd like to do either Exeter, Achilles, or Ajax of the cruiser squadron that fought the which is my favourite naval battle, which fought the Graf Spee. And I'd also like to get one of the Panzerschiffs, one of the Graf-Spee, Lutzow, Admiral Scheer or Hipper. I think it's Scheer, isn't it? So yeah, and of course I really like the Japanese. I'd like to also get something like New Jersey, and I'd also like to get some of the Japanese ships as well. I do like the Megami and the Tone and the Golden Bennett Gav. No, it's gone now, but yeah, I like those as well, because they're just different, if that makes sense. Anyway, doing it again, aren't I? I can't stop myself. Right, look after yourselves. Before I go, I should have said this at the front, and I didn't. Yes, Archie wants to say how dead chuffed he is. So in the UK, dead chuffed means very pleased to hear that his Uncle Tom, that's old Tom, Mr. Rambler 69, won himself a gong, which is British for a medal, at the Acme show. He won't blow his own trumpet. Well, he did once, but got him in nothing but trouble with the neighbours. We won't go into that. But yeah, he got himself a gong, a medal, whatever you want to call it, a cup, I don't know, at the Acme show. Tom, I don't know if you stuck with this to the end, probably not, but really pleased for you, Mara. You do some of the best automotive modelling I have ever seen in my life. And as I said to you, and I'm not just saying it, when you have a dark day, and can you hear that pop of mine? He's 11 years old and he's rolling round on his back, hanging, as we say. Burke. No, sorry, I'm derailing again. When you have a dark day and Tom puts up the final reveal on one of his kits, especially I love his hot rods. And his dragsters are good too, but his hot rods are absolutely fantastic, and they really brighten my day up when I see them. So, Tom, very well done, Mara. Really chuffed for you. You put so much work into your kits, and it always shows. The end result is absolutely stunning. So, if you haven't, go and check. I will put Jeff and Tom's channels up on the description thing. Please go and check those guys out. They're both top skills modelers, and not just that, they're absolute gentlemen. I'm not sure their wives say that, but the rest of us do. Absolute gentlemen, and I'm really pleased to know them. I don't know if that's mutual, but you know, they shouldn't have stumbled blindly into Gavin's YouTube channel, should they? Right, guys, thanks for listening to me ramble. Thank you for your kind support. It really means a lot. You often hear YouTubers say it. I don't hunt subs. I just leave it to you guys to you know, sub and comment when you want to, like and all that stuff. And again, I'm not sledging people that ask for all that stuff. All I'm saying is my channel is here. It helps my head problems, and I've been really fortunate enough to meet some really, really decent Mara's friends, buddies, that type of thing. Some really decent Maras along the way doing this, and as I say, they've really helped me out with my head problems just by being there, just by putting those videos up, me putting videos up, you interacting with me. It means a hell of a lot. So thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. Telford, which is our big show in the UK, is coming up. Well, it's one of the big shows in Europe and that, I think. Modelling shows coming up. I don't venture out the house very often because of my head problems, but I do go to Telford. It's half an hour up the road. If you see me stumbling about there, come up and say hello. I don't eat people, not on a Saturday anyway. It's always, as other people have said, it's nice to put a face to a commenter, or you know, things like that. But yeah, we've got Telford coming up. Who knows what Gav's going to come back with? Probably ship books now, isn't it? Although I've got a fair few of those already. Right, Look after yourselves. If you are in Telford, as I say, come up and say hello, or run in the opposite direction. But if you are going to run, please run in a straight line. I had people vaulting over tables last time, models going everywhere just to get away from me. It just causes nothing but tension. Okay. Look after yourselves, guys.